closing signal as its main theme? Second, how do Paul's small connecting words, for, because, but, and so on, reveal his underlying train of thought? Paul's sentences are almost never just random ideas, one after another. They form logical arguments, indicating the deeper structure of his thought and of the gospel itself. Third, what contexts in Paul's wider world, either his Jewish world or the larger Greco-Roman world where he worked, would provide the natural resonances for what he says? This is a much bigger area than we can peruse in detail here, but some starting points will be vital. Here, as in some other work, I follow the practice of using a small s for spirit, including the Holy Spirit. The tradition of using capitals to signal divinity, which in any case only works in English, was not an option for Paul. It is good to be reminded that what he said about the pneuma had to make its way in a world where many philosophers used the word in a variety of senses. I have followed the same practice with Father, as referring to God, for similar reasons. The present book began as a series of lectures in the autumn of 2021 at Wycliffe Hall, Oxford, which has become my academic home once more after a gap of 50 years. I am very grateful to the principal, Dr. Michael Lloyd, and to his colleagues and their students for their support, and also to the friends of Wycliffe Hall, whose help has enabled me to join in the congenial, prayerful, friendly, and highly intelligent life of the Hall. I then enlarged and developed the material a bit for lectures in June 2022 at Truett Seminary in Waco, Texas, whose president, Dr. Todd Still, created another wonderfully welcoming setting, while other old friends, Carrie and Leanne Newman, looked after me magnificently in their home. The Truett lectures were also coordinated by the team from the Wisconsin Center for Christian Studies, led by Dr. David Seamuth, who organized the courses at www.ntwrightonline.org, including the one which will provide an online version of the present book. To my publishers, and particularly Philip Law at SPCK and Katja Coverett at Zondervan Academic, I owe the usual gratitude for advice and help in matters great and small. To my family, and especially my beloved wife Maggie, my debt increases with every passing year, and with every further book. The dedication reflects another lifelong friendship. Peter Rogers studied alongside me in Oxford in the 1970s, and has remained, through the years and across the miles, encouraging and prayerful, a constant conversation partner, exegetically alert, and pastorally wise. Tom Wright, Wycliffe Hall, Oxford. 1. Romans 8 in context. In January 2000, my family and I moved to central London. I knew London slightly already. I knew the British Museum, St Paul's Cathedral, and the Tower of London. I knew Buckingham Palace, the Houses of Parliament, Westminster Abbey. I could get from one mainline railway station to another. I could find my way to the really important places, such as Lord's Cricket Ground. So I wasn't entirely clueless. But until I lived there, I didn't know how all these places joined up, or how to get to and fro between them. Travelling by the Underground, as I usually did, gives you no sense of geography. Underground trains are a bit like the wind in John chapter 3. You hear the sound they make, but you can't tell where they come from or where they go to. But once we went to live there, I relished making the connections. I used to walk miles, discovering how it all fitted together. And I marvelled at how the London taxi drivers knew their way in the vast and complex system. They scorn GPS systems. They become living, breathing maps. They train by spending 2 years walking round everywhere, memorising, taking notes, figuring out the one-way systems and shortcuts, until it becomes second nature. Brain scans have shown that taxi drivers' brains actually change shape through that process. The hippocampus enlarges as spatial awareness is enhanced. Many Christians feel about Paul's letter to the Romans like I used to feel about London. I suspect that most people who pick up a book, such as the present one,